Nestor,
Travis.
crazy market.
It is a crazy market.
You ever seen anything like this?
Never.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
I was searching for another question.
Well, no. So, and never. I'll been in the industry going close to 30 years now. So, been through some ups and downs in the real estate market, been through the recession, depression, and all of that kind of stuff. And it's interesting. I've been asked lately, this market is crazier than back in 05 to 012 when we saw the REOs, different type of crazy.
Yeah, that was so busy and just trying to figure out what was going on and trying to make things happen.
Right.
This one is just kind of crickets.
Correct. Short sales, loan modifications, thing.
None of that's going on.
Yeah, that was a time of, hey, you just had to learn how to do your business differently. But there was business out there to be had.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I think there was more business out there to be had prior to, because part of the problem with that whole thing was people didn't understand how to do short sales.
Or didn't want to. Remember that?
Or didn't want to, yeah.
I'll work with a buyer, take a listing, but not a short sale.
Right.
It's like, oh, well, I hope you have another career in mind.
Right. There was a ton of them, right?
All that there was. You had to do it.
Yeah. So now, wow. And I don't know. I mean, I think part of our episodes is, advice and things like that is what we're always here for, how we can help the agents. I had a wonderful coffee this morning with an agent, and kudos to you. She gave you props, and she went back to an open house that she was at, or a broker preview. And it was funny. She said, yeah, Travis told me I was at this broker preview, and he walked in, and I was explaining to him how troubled I was with the market and how this house wasn't selling and how difficult it was. And you had a conversation with her about, this is the best opportunity for you to actually create growth. And, you had taken that information that she had given you and you had pivoted, and she was talking to me about it today and how that was one of the pivotal moments in her business, that she took advantage of the situation to create more growth for her, not right then and there, but prepping for the future. And I feel like that's where we are right now.
Awesome. I think more so than ever.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it. It was really over a year ago that everything got was like, whoa, what's going on here? It was like April 2022. And now we're here in August, nearly September 2023. And I think dramatic change is coming.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's good, bad, and different, but there's just so much, it's kind of like when you have pennies on a table and you smack it and they're just all kind of jumping all over the place. It's kind of how I feel like things are. There's no direction.
Right.
It's just all up in the air. So something's going to happen. And actually, that's funny. We were going to talk about, kind of some of the unscrupulous maybe things that are going on out there in the market right now. But I wanted to preface it and say, hey, we may be talking about things that don't sound super positive, or that there may be a change to the negative coming up or whatever it might be. But that doesn't mean that it's a bad time.
Right.
We all got to buckle down.
Yep.
We're all going to have our challenges. But yeah, right back to exactly what I was speaking to with that agent is, this is opportunity.
Yep.
So if you've got staying power and you got the constitution, the fortitude to go out there and double down, man, this is where you make up a lot of ground and capture a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely. And she's actually having a pretty good year this year. Not her best year ever, but she's having she's holding her own, and we've had many conversations and signed a lot of checks here with some agents that are doing very well this year.
True.
So, there is business to be had. One of my favorite quotes is always, what is our unfair share? Because that's really what we're after. And hopefully everybody understands that. But this is a market where you've got to be innovative. You've got to be a little bit outside of the box. And these are opportunities for you to start doing some things that you didn't do before. Prep for tomorrow. I go back to, what was it? It was like 2 years ago. We were sitting in front of Gary Vee maybe
I
3
don't
years.
remember
I
how
think.
long ago.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. We were sitting in front of Gary Vee, and he basically, bravo to the real estate agent. And you guys are all out there making plenty of money right now. And guess what? You're going to all get punched in the nose at some
always
point,
do.
right? And the majority of you are not going to know or understand how to react to that. And right now, the market's punching a lot of people right in the nose.
For
And
sure.
they don't know how to react. And, we were talking about our episode, and one our episode today is, don't act wrong. Don't misbehave, because that's not a good approach to. That's not the quick fix or the fix for this particular industry. And I know we're trying to keep this in a positive world, but at the same time, we're seeing it.
What are we seeing?
I was just telling you, I had 2 situations or 2 episodes here recently of agents out there where they actually were in 2 escrows.
Oh,
with the same property.
I've been there myself.
Yeah. So I want to preface that part where they actually sold the same house twice and were in active escrows. And, sometimes mistakes happen and there's accidents that are out there. But the sad part about this situation was it was evident that they were actively doing that.
Yeah, they knew what was going on.
Yeah, and basically sold the house in situation where, hey, maybe I can get more money and put the house back on the market as active. They went, one of these agents went as far as they were holding open houses again, and soliciting for other buyers, and secured another buyer, opened another escrow without even attempting to. They basically did it behind the back of the other escrow.
Yeah.
And and it's
so there's a lesson. Yeah, don't go and put the property for sale again when it's not for sale again. That's terrible.
Caught it just simply looking at the history of the. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why did this property go from pending back to active again? And what was happening there? But we know better in a lot of situations, and I also get it. I get it, but I don't get it. We have to remember at the end of the day, when we're doing something that is not right, it's not just, well, I didn't do something that was correct, so shame on me. No, you've affected a potential buyer. You've affected, in this case, potentially 2 buyers. You've affected the sellers, our reputation within the industry. All of these things start to come into effect of, why do people not trust us in this business? And, why do we have the reputation that we have? And
short-sighted gain and making a difficult situation for your cooperating agent.
Right.
And all it's going to do is, God forbid, those 2 agents meet again. Well, the one who got burned this time is going to handle it in a whole different situation.
Yep.
So you're just hurting yourself.
I'm going to ask you this question. Have you been having conversations with other brokers or anything here recently?
A little bit.
Okay. Is there or is there not a difference between, sometimes we have a conversation and, hey, this is the issue that's going on, and I feel like I'm working with somebody and we're both working towards a solution.
Yes.
And sometimes I feel like, nope, you're wrong. Before even anything is said, and it's too bad, so bad, or too bad, so sad, and
it's unfortunate.
And I feel like that part of the industry, we are supposed to be cooperating with each other. We are supposed to be, it's supposed to be that environment. And I feel like a lot of that has disappeared here recently too.
Big time. And actually, I use that as an analogy or as an example when I'm talking to agents, because I talk to a lot of agents. Mm-hmm. And especially the people who've been in the business and have the tenure.
Right.
So I reach out to them and they're like, really? You're calling me to say thank you? Yeah, absolutely. Wow. I go, yeah. And I'll even say it. I go, I like doing this because it reminds me back when I got in the business. You know what? We all knew one another. We communicated with one another. You weren't afraid if I called you and said, hey, I know you work that area. I've got something going on. Would you mind providing a little bit of information?
Right.
Whereas now they'll assume that's what you want and they'll never pick up the phone. It's like, it's a sad set of affairs.
Had a lunch with an agent, wonderful agent yesterday. And she was telling me that one of the top agents in Orange County picked up a listing in her geographic farm. And she said that the agent called her up and asked for a little bit of advice on the pricing because it was a little bit awkward. And she was in the middle of an escrow right then and there and was about to close. And she said when she got the call from this agent, she was thrown a little back because she just wasn't expecting it. And she said, so I said, well, how'd the conversation go? And she said, it was one of the best conversations ever. I said, you weren't threatened? And she says, no, I wasn't threatened. She wasn't threatened? No, we can't get them all. And at the end of the day, both agents sat there and they were trying to do what was best for the clients, what was best for the community, and best for the industry, and ended up getting together, having lunch, and are working on other conversations with regards to, hey, tell me about your business and how did you become one of the #1 agents in Orange County? And when we come from a place of not having that fear, then we end up with that win-win.
Yep, great cooperation.
So it is, but it's too far in between. Everyone, I feel like that needs to be more on the front end, and we're just not seeing it. Yeah, but we got to change the subject. I feel like I'm being all negative and everything.
Oh well, I mean, we kind of took the negative subjects and going into, let's see, there are no listings out there.
Yep.
So everybody's hoarding them. And playing games and having secret meetings about secret listings.
We're seeing that, yes. Don't do it. It violates the NAR's clear cooperation, and it's just not a good situation. I don't know what else to say about that, but we shouldn't be doing that. And if you're participating in that as it is shame on an agent if they are putting themselves in a position like that, where they are, the listing agent on that, and they're withholding information from the public and for their own best interest. But I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you're on the flip side and you're the one benefiting from this information as a buyer's agent because you're in on that secret meeting, you're just as guilty.
It takes two to tango.
Exactly. So. Yeah, usually in a divorce situation, it's not just one party's fault. So just throwing that out there. But in this situation as well, it's not usually just one person that's doing wrong there. So
for sure. And I don't know if you'll ever be able to convince me, because there's been so much talk about that with clear cooperation and everything going on with the Association of Realtors and their lawsuits and everything. It's like, we got to change things, and all these people with their little secret MLSs are like, no, this is for the benefit of my client.
Correct.
You'll never be able to convince me of that. There's nothing but an open market sale that's going to do the best thing for your clients. Correct. Period.
And I think people need to understand that we always have to act in the benefit of our client, and anything short of that. There are very, very rare occasions where a client says, hey, I don't want this. Mm-hmm. It's happened in my career where the client, it's best if we go on the market and be open. No. The neighbor wants to buy it. Their son's going to move in next door. We can get more money if we, no. I would still want to do it this way because I don't like people in my house, or whatever their case may be. There are rare occasions where the benefit to your client and their best interest is something other than the dollars and the cents being up there near the top. And we have to respect that as well. Mm-hmm. But that's very rare and far in between.
I agree. Much more so than people portend.
So what should we be doing in this market?
What should we be doing in this market?
Yeah.
Well, when we went into the last, excuse me, let me rephrase that. The last market turmoil we had, I remember a gentleman came to a meeting I was in, and he said, the first thing people do when they're fearful or they're struggling or they just don't know what to do is they stop showing up.
Yep.
So I'm going to say, what should we be doing right now? Showing up. Don't not show up. That's like the worst thing you can do to yourself.
Right.
That's meetings. That's working your plan. Now, we always have to adjust things. I'm not saying, hey, if you're spending $1,000 a month and you just can't afford it anymore, okay. But there's a lot of things you can be doing.
Exactly. This reminds me of a conversation we had a few years ago. A little thing called COVID kicked in, and everybody was afraid that the market was going to change. And it did change. It was a little bit different, but same advice we were giving back then. Show up. Now it's even more important. Have more conversations. Say hello to more people. Touch base or touch in or keep in touch with people and have those conversations. And just be transparent and genuine in your conversations with them, and things will happen.
Yep.
And things did happen. It's like, oh, people do still need to sell. And, oh, people were still interested in selling. And I think that right now, again, it's that same conversation. How am I having more conversations with people? And it doesn't have to be with every person that's out there that's thinking of buying or selling. It's just, how do I have more conversations in general with people? And the business will come.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking about that before you said it, which is not every conversation turns into a deal.
Right.
So a lot of agents think it's like, oh, you're in real estate? Yeah, how can I help you? Want me to show you some properties? You ready to list your house? It's like, whoa, let's tap the brakes a little bit here, people want to work with people they like. Right. And this is a relationship building business. So if these are people you don't know, just chat with them.
Right.
It can be a real estate conversation, but don't sell them. Wait till that moment's right.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. We can have a conversation with any individual about life in general, what's going on, and just have a general conversation. They know what we do. They know what you do. If they're thinking of buying or selling during that conversation, we don't have to bring it up. They will bring it up. Correct?
Correct.
Never fails. Talk to them long enough, at some point, well, hey, or that they'll lead into it. And if they're not ready right now, they're not doing something, they might be polite and ask you how the market's doing or what's going on. And you'll know, and that's all you need to do. More of those.
Great to see you.
Yep.
Look forward to touching base again soon. Back to the office, handwritten note. Just keep doing that.
Exactly. In closing,
unscrupulous agents generally get what they deserve. Be careful. Don't go out there and intentionally do the bad deed. People remember, will affect your business. And when the market tightens, get out there. Show up, double down.
I love it. Ditto on that, name end of that.
That hog it all up right there was kind of a long closing.
All good. Like and subscribe. And any questions, comments, drop them down below. We'd love to hear from you.